Ah, 5 o'clock. They are bang on time for once. It's Monday, and this is really lovely. This is a letter from Betsy Meller, and I don't know if anybody remembers Betsy, but Betsy came to visit us, I think, when Colleen was still in the cabin. So we haven't seen her for a while, and she's over in California. I'm not sure what sort of weather they've got. I'm sure it's not quite as special as this. Still. Oh, it's lovely. And they've treated woodpeckers. Red-naped woodpecker. That's lovely. Oh, thank you very much. She says, hello, I'm far away in California, but enjoying seeing what I can and hearing Elizabeth's voice as she does her animal care rounds. That's me. May your year be successful and you will touch many hearts. Love to Colleen, Elizabeth, Janine, Nick, and all the critters and those I haven't met. Oh, thank you very much, Betsy, and a wonderful year to you too. And remember us, if you're coming this week, come visit. That would be lovely. Put this here. Keep this in here. I can show somehow get it back in the envelope. Fingers and thumbs. There we go. Two to go to the back with. So, we've had a touch of snow. Yeah, I've got hay everywhere. We've had a touch of snow, and we're all still going, which is absolutely super. And it's terribly rude to speak to people with your hat on, but I'm not taking it off because, firstly, it's stuck to my head, and secondly, it's keeping my ears warm. So, we've done very well, I think. Everybody's healthy, happy, eating, warm enough, and both farms are doing beautifully. And I must say that it is so lovely having such a wonderful team, of which I am actually very fortunate to be part of on Meredith, because it has run super smoothly, which is absolutely super news. Yesterday, Kate, for the majority, Nick and I, we got the barn ready for the snow coming in, and we left as it started snowing, lightly at that point. The sheep are all inside. The two mules are outside because there's no containing fed in an inside scenario. He just does not do trapped indoors. It instills a certain sense of very strong panic in him, and then he takes doors down, which then leaves everybody else exceptionally cold. So he is in a running shed with Enzo, and Enzo does not mind being inside. In fact, normally when we're putting the sheep into the barn and closing the door, we put Enzo in with them. But Enzo had to go and be Ted's companion, and I'm not sure he's best pleased with Ted. Anyway, those two are very comfortable outside. Flower and Harley and Hedwig, the two alpacas, Oreo and Rusty, and Wilbur, they were all locked in overnight as well. The two horses were inside, and Miss Peanut, she was in her enormous stall. So everybody was very happy and probably quite relieved just to be in and hunkered down. Corey very kindly gave evening dinners and water top-ups. We have super loaded them with hay, so that the hay is all in position and ready for any eventuality should nobody be able to get through them. So they're all very well accommodated. And then this morning, Corey went back and she gave them, she topped them all off and gave them breakfast. And Pam got there to do chores, and Kate got there, and Kate was putting the whole barn to bed by 2 o'clock. So it's all done and dusted, which is lovely because I am a really nervous driver in snow. I hate bad road conditions, and it's not because I am not a good driver. It's because everybody else still goes really fast, and it's horrific. So I am very appreciative not to have to have been out in the car, which means we can focus on here, which is lovely. There's a lot goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. Michelle, Nick, and Justin have been out moving snow all day. I've been faffing around in the barn, which I love doing, and we're all just keeping on top of it. Carlene, I think, is A-OK. I actually haven't seen her today. Although I did think there was an emergency yesterday because she kept saying to me, "Where's my car? I need my car back." And Nick had taken it to go and get fuel so that we had extra fuel should she need to use her generator. So he was away off doing that, and then he had to go and pick something else up for the tractor because it takes diesel. So the first gas station he went to was actually empty, believe it or not. So he had to go to another one. So he's running around and saying, "You need to hurry up. Carlene needs a car. There's something in it she needs." I thought it might be medicine because she was getting quite panicky. Got the car back. It's her hair rollers. Honestly, I think she is very, very well prepared for the storm if she's worried about how her hair looks. So anyway, we were all organised yesterday and all hunkered down, which was very nice. And then the snow just came down as if it's thing. I have no idea how much snow we actually have had because it's drifted. It's very light snow, which is wonderful, but it's drifted all over the place. The one place I think I've got a truish reading is on my deck, and it looks like it's about 20 to 22 inches. In fact, probably closer to 22 inches. And we've got another little wave of snow coming now, and that will just keep us ticking along quite happily. So there's always a calming effect, I think, when it snows. It's then after it's been down for a while that the bedlam starts because everybody's got to get out and about. The schools were off today. They're also going to be off tomorrow, which is wonderful. And then everybody will have to be back up and at it by Wednesday. I don't have a job until Thursday and Friday, which is great because it allows us to be able to focus on what's going on in here. I think what I should point out is I do have goats and chickens and dogs up the hill, which I tend to before I come down here, and so there's always something to be done. And I was speaking with the plough gentleman who's done a phenomenal job, and he says there's more snow coming at the weekend. And he suggested that there's the potential it may be a storm, but the weekend is so far off, and we shall just ignore that and carry on as usual. I do think, given the fact that we've gone through maybe a bit more hay, that we might have to do a hay run if there is another storm coming in at the weekend. It would be a test. I think you'll probably notice that Miss Jenny has absolutely adored her straw beds, her chicken buddy. The chickens are in the small stall that's just behind the cow stall at the moment because Elvis is hell bent on eating the chicken feed, which is just Elvis because he just likes eating. And the problem I've noticed, is that my donkeys in the arena are quite spirited, shall we say. So I'm trying to keep everybody moving, and I put the two cows down there, and Arthur was an absolute stinker. He was chasing Jenny, he was chasing Elvis, and they were running round and round in circles. And I thought, you know what, this is not going to end well, and I let them out. So the first day I put the cows in with the goats, just for a change of scenery, and then today I just let the cows in their own stall, but I took the chickens out so that they could have peace and quiet to eat. So I'll probably just leave Sally and the two chickens in that stall overnight because they're quite happy there. We've been really lucky with the water in the barn at the moment. It has not frozen, probably because it was 20 last night outside, and it would obviously be a little bit warmer inside. The rest of the week is it's not really getting, it's all below 10 overnight, which is not fun. I'm still using an awful lot of hot water, and everybody's getting their special water, cocktails from the bar, obviously, and they're thoroughly enjoying that. So that's good. We're keeping everybody well hydrated. That's really all I've got to tell you, because quite frankly, that's all that's happening. It's snow preparation, and Janina's doing just fine down in South Carolina. They have had. She said that they were just down at Surf Day. She said it's been perfect. So that was very lucky, and she'll be out and about with the Goldie's South team. I think her first job will be on a Tuesday. So at least she's keeping in motion. And goodness, there was something that somebody had asked me that I was going to talk about, and it's gone out my head, which is not a surprise, really. Yeah. Okay, so let me check. Oh my gosh, where did I put this? I'm having real trouble with my phone. I must have downloaded some sort of blinking update, and it feels that to find things, I'm doing far more steps than normal. So, okay. Okay, here we go. We're done. I am very wrapped up today, because yesterday I had welly boots on, and I think the problem with welly boots is that when your feet eventually do warm up, they get a little bit cold afterwards, and I was absolutely freezing yesterday. So today I don't have welly boots on. I've got my leather boots on, and they're holding up quite nicely. Although Nick has been playing with his snowblower, which he quite enjoys apparently, and as I was making the dinner to come down here, I mean the animal dinner, not the person dinner, because I don't do person dinners any longer. As I was making the animal dinner, he came over with his welly and he tipped it up into the sink, and all this water came out. I was like, where did you get that? And it must just have been, obviously, because the snow is quite light, it must just have been working its way down into his boots. So that was fun. The Henny Penny link is not working. Right. Oh, I'll have to ask Janine about that. I do have my hat. I think Hilda said these hats a couple of years ago. Could that be right? Maybe I'm wrong. No. It is. That's one of the things that is exhausting, is crunching through snow when it's so blinking deep. It is, it probably expends so much more energy skipping through that. I am super toasty warm today, so far better than yesterday, because I was super freezing cold yesterday. So that's good. I must have picked the perfect mix of clothes. I've got so many clothes on, I'm finding it difficult to bend over and pick up the hay that's on the ground. I'm like a Stay Puft person. I am getting food, but I don't function without that. Although I will tell you, my daughter was up making food at midnight last night, and there's nothing nicer at this precise moment in time. I have got about 5 dogs on the bed, and they are so blinking cozy. They are fantastic. Is it 4? I don't know what that means. You know, I did not celebrate Burns Day yesterday, probably because we were a bit busy doing lots of different things. And it's very difficult getting haggis over here, because it's not allowed to be imported, because it's awful, as in heart and lungs and kidneys. Well, I don't really got kidneys in it, but awful. So they're not allowed to import that in case of infection. So I've never had an American haggis, put it that way. Yes. What you mean Northern California? Mind you, Northern California, do you not get all these wildfires and things? I think we're all fighting our own battles weather-wise at the moment, aren't we? Oh, yep, the farm's just ticking along quite nicely, and yes, my ears are appreciating the hat. I don't know if you saw Miss. Thank you, Pat. I don't know if you saw Miss Flower, but Miss Flower is at the first. She is the first to the barn to check out to see whether or not you've got anything to eat. She's an absolute character and a half. And we opened Corey opened the barn door for us this morning because they have the barn. That ice house barn has a really phenomenal attached run-in, and then it opens out into the most enormous paddock. So this water's spoiled, but we closed the gate to the paddock because we didn't want anybody going out and getting stuck, and then us having to drag them back in by their legs. So she was out running around this morning in that paddock. She just loves the snow. She's full of the joys of snowy weather. That one, she's hilarious. No, I think Goldie's farm south was just fine in the snow, so that was good. Oh my gosh. I'm glad your Christmas card came through. I am actually finding an awful lot of cards that are being returned, so I leave them in with Carlene and she's supposed to pop them back out. There is not hot water in the barn. And no. It wasn't Dana that did the driveway. It was another gentleman that does one of the barns that Michelle's at, and he was absolutely super. And Dana is actually on vacation. Good choice, I can tell you. Yeah, I think it probably was about 22 inches. So difficult to tell because it's so light, it drips all over the place. Yeah, when you were there probably was running water in the barn, but unfortunately the pipes have burst, so there is not. Yes, I could do that, but I think we don't have one, a big electric coffee urn. And see, the thing is, we technically should have hot water, but the pipes burst, so we don't have hot water at the moment. And if you make the hot mash, I'm going to sound really stupid here. If you make the hot mash with cold water, A, it's not hot, but B, it takes so long to break down the pellets. It's the medless pellets that are about that size, and it takes about an hour, sometimes 2 hours to break the pellets down. Now, if you do it in warm water or hot water, they break down really very quickly. But the beauty of it is I really like animals with a warm feed morning and sometimes at night time, depending on what the temperature is going to be overnight. So that's why it's one of my little peculiarities. I give everybody hot mash. I give them warm mash in the summer. It's just I am quite sure it wards off the vet. So there, because I think it keeps everything functioning nicely in their gastric system. So there, that's me. GI tract anonymous. I don't think Janine got any of this winter weather, she was saying. So sorry. So that's why we don't really want to invest in an electric urn because we should really be getting the water fixed. But there's no point doing it while the temperatures are so awful and we've got everything Saturday night, Sunday. Ah, well, time for that to change. That'll be fine. I don't know if Carleen will get her dinner tonight. I did wonder about that, but Justin's here, so he'll sort her out if she doesn't. Arthur has been really quite a pain in the butt at the moment. He's chasing everybody around, and he's been really bossy. So, and he's probably the only animal that I could put outside and not be worried about in the snow. Everybody else, it's kind of like up to their tummies. So I don't want anyone else outside, and I'm keeping them all in. So that's the reason. Yeah, but I don't know what he's up to. He's full of the joys of being an absolute pet. Oh, another pair. I shall go and look at those, see what you think. Oh my gosh, tornadoes. Sacramento sounds perfect, apart from the hot weather. But I suppose you would get used to it. I suppose also if it's not, if it's dry hot weather, I think that's always a bit better than that nasty humid hot weather. Boone is finishing up his training. He is going home with. He is going home with Sharon, and Mandy is staying here because he will need to go home and have his training reinforced, and Justin doesn't have time to do that. So Sharon will take him home and work with him on that. And at this precise moment in time, Sharon and one of her daughters are scheduled to come. Sharon came on Friday to one of the jobs, and her daughter has time in her curriculum timetable to come on a Friday morning. So she's thinking about coming to help out on the jobs on a Friday morning, which would be just lovely. This is a tremendous amount for Carol, and Carol has been absolutely an absolute godsend because Carol and I just bimble along to the jobs and we get it done. But I don't think anybody. Some of the jobs it looks like we've maybe got 5 days a week, 4 days a week, and that's a tremendous. Karen actually has a life. There we go, and it's been very much appreciated all the time that she has given to us. But if I can try and find some more volunteers to come and help me, that would be absolutely super, and allow Carol to come in and out when she has time. And she always steps up if we have problems, so that's very greatly appreciated. And there's another lady who came to see me on Friday, and she may come out on the occasional job as well. So it's good. It's just good to have different people who can slot in and out. And you know, some people actually live in the areas that we're visiting, which is even better. So that's all good. Although I'm terribly excited. I think I've got to get to Salem on Friday, and you know me, I don't drive the interstate. I don't like snowy weather, so the weather better be good. Oh, it's going to be super fun. That'll be my goats next door making the thumping noise. They like to thump around, they jump up because they know Nick and I are in the barn. So when they know we're in the barn, they jump up and they put their feet up on the railings and they go, yeah, but they're quite thumpy. I get hot water from my house, so I try and bring it down the hill with me because it's super hot, and then I get warm water from Carlene's house. Now Judy is back actually in the middle of February, so it's not too long. So we must be at least halfway through Judy being away and abandoning us. So I think it's actually quite soon she's back, believe it or not, which is just lovely. And then I think Janine may be back in the middle of February as well, because there's a court date. So I think she'll come back for that. But, you know, we're all functioning, believe it or not, quite nicely, and it allows Goldie's South to get up and running, and Janine to get herself organised down there, which is perfect, because it's very difficult, you know, when you technically live in South Carolina, you know, to leave it and then you have to come back and open it all back up again, get your animals transported down, and it's a tricky thing having. It's one thing having a foot in one state and a foot in a neighbouring state. Janine's got a foot in this state and then a foot in quite a few states down. So that always makes things a little bit tricky. But we'll get there. We'll get there in the end. So we're fortunate that we're able to do so. I think Charlene's doing fine with the dogs. Clarky and Sizzle are just, you know, same as usual. Willow, you know, she's a puppy. She goes through her mad half hour. She's constantly active, and you know, there's people in and out of the house, so that's good. I don't think any of the dames particularly like the snowy weather. Let's face it, we're dames. Mine went out this morning and went, thanks very much, that's more than enough of that nonsense, and came straight back in. The rest of the dogs went out, and they normally love the snow, but I don't think they'd reckoned on the fact that it was quite so cold. And they went out and played around for a minute or two, and then they were like, yeah, right, let's come in. So of course when they come in, covered in snow, Noodles was the last one in. He's just hilarious. Anything wet, Noodles was in it. The problem is, when you put him out at night time and he goes out, you've got to really make sure that he's not bringing the snow to bed, because he does trap everything in that coat. And he's so pleased with himself. But, you know, we can't be angry with him because he's such a nice wee dog. I'm very lucky with Noodles and all the other dogs. So, it's super fun. And the goats up the hill, the horned goats, they're fine. We must also remember that the horned goats have a very warm and toasty barn because it has a heater in it. So they're not really coming out. They're just sitting in there going, feed me now. And I'm like, okay, here's some more hay. And they're like, and some of that grain stuff. And we're like, okay. So they're very well accommodated, put it that way. So I don't think we'll see them for a while. But you know what? Can't go wrong, I don't think. Touch wood, I should say that, because lots of things can go wrong. And we were so lucky. I think the one thing that I was actually most concerned about was if the power stayed on, and we were so very fortunate in that it did. So that was absolutely super, because there is nothing worse than dealing with all of this with a power outage. That is so much like not fun. Oh, I have 7 dogs. I have Ella and Arlo. Ella's a blue Dane and Arlo is a black Dane with a little, I think it's a wee white bit. And then I have Gracie, who is the one that looks, when she gets wet, she looks like a coyote apparently. She's a brindle, and my poor Gracie, she was living wild at the side of an interstate, and the only reason animal control were able to catch her was because she got hit by a car, and somebody fortunately saw her. She hadn't been able to scavenge for food, so she was at the side of the road, and she was absolutely skeletal with a broken leg. So they took her in, and we paid for her to. We weren't sure if she was actually going to make it, so we paid for her to go to the vet. And animal control down in Arkansas did a really great job in her recovery. And then when she was healthy enough to come up, she went through all our vetting, etc. And then she came up to us. So we've had her for about 5 years. And Julius is an Australian Shepherd. I think he's a cross between a mini Australian Shepherd and a full-size one. And he's just absolutely fluffy like he is. And then we have Juniper, who's a sort of German Shepherd, but she's very long, and she's the one that was doing the barking in the video. She gets everybody jumping. She just wants to play all the time. And she is so bossy. She's actually not aggressive. She just talks all the time. She's always got something to say. And then the next thing is she comes and sits on your knee and she just wants cuddled. She is such an absolute sweetheart. But she's just got that swagger. She's in the middle of absolutely everything. I'm very fond of Juniper. Then we've got Annie. We all know Annie. And then we've got our Diddler, and he's just lovely. So that's them. If I missed anyone out, because sometimes I do. I think that's it. I could find you pictures of my dogs at some point. Oh, there are pictures of Carleen ploughing. I'm sure she'll go on and look. I'll try and remind her. What was I going to say? Yeah, Carleen said to me during the week, she said, if you could just get the plough put in my car, she said, if you could leave it pointing up the hill, and so it's easy for me to get in, I'll start ploughing at 4 in the morning. I was like, right, okay, and I'm thinking, right, so you've given up driving, but you're going to go ploughing. Okay, nothing to worry about or see here. So, there we go. That is us for Monday. It's Tuesday all day tomorrow. And I think just on the barn tomorrow, I don't think there's any job. No, there's no job. And so we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hoping it won't be too icy because that will not be fun at all. Anyway, so that's us for the day. And I'll be back tomorrow. So I hope everybody is safe and healthy overnight. And we'll see you then. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, I'm going to get out my feet now and take my gloves. There we go. Oh. Right. Oh my God, gosh. You need me to take that one out, Nick?